Ladies and gentlemen, what we're witnessing isn't just another headline. It's a seismic shift in global priorities that will affect your wallet, your security, and your future. The Middle East has erupted into flames, and Western powers are scrambling like firefighters with too many fires and not enough water. While they're rushing to douse flames in Israel, their previous priority crisis along Russia's western border has been quietly moved to the back burner. Think about this. What happens when the world's attention shifts? Money follows. Military aid that was once flowing eastward is now racing toward Israel at unprecedented speed. No bureaucratic red tape, no lengthy approval processes, just instant support. But here's the real game changer that affects your financial security. Oil prices are soaring. Remember all those predictions about Russia's economic collapse? They've evaporated faster than morning dew. Moscow's coffers are filling up, thanks to this unexpected twist in global energy markets. The implications are staggering. Western military resources are being redirected. Energy security is trumping previous geopolitical priorities. Russia's economic position is strengthening. Global alliances are shifting at breakneck speed. What's particularly alarming is how quickly the West's threat assessment has been rewritten. The new priority list reads like a powder keg. Israel, oil security, Iran, Arab tensions, and Chinese trade dynamics. The former urgent crisis along Russia's borders has been relegated to footnote status. This isn't just about distant conflicts. It's about your energy bills, your savings, and your future security. We're watching a masterclass in global power dynamics, where those who control energy resources hold the real cards. The question that should keep you up at night: are we witnessing the end of unipolar dominance and the birth of a new world order? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into these seismic shifts. Can the West afford to maintain multiple crisis fronts while energy security hangs in the balance? The answer might surprise you. The global chessboard is witnessing a dramatic shift, with Russia emerging as a pivotal player in the new world order. As Western attention scatters between multiple crises, Moscow's strategic patience is paying dividends. The territory of instability bordering Russia's western frontier is increasingly becoming yesterday's news as Taiwan and Middle Eastern developments dominate headlines. The Western rhetoric has evolved from bold declarations to cautious diplomatic whispers. Their initial bravado about unconditional support has morphed into vague expressions of moral solidarity, a telling sign of their weakening resolve. Meanwhile, Russia's energy sector demonstrates remarkable resilience, outmaneuvering Western attempts at isolation. China's strengthening alliance with Iran creates a powerful counterweight to Western influence. This partnership, combined with Russia's robust energy exports, forms a formidable axis that threatens to reshape global energy markets. The attempted price cap on Russian oil has backfired, with Asian markets absorbing Russian exports at premium rates. Europe finds itself in an increasingly precarious position. While Macron struggles to maintain social order amidst growing Islamic protests, other European leaders face similar domestic challenges. The Israeli operation has ignited street demonstrations across European capitals, forcing a shift in political priorities. Dear viewers, especially those viewing from abroad, we're witnessing history in the making. How do you see this reshaping of global power dynamics? Share your perspectives. Your insights are valuable if you're observing these changes from outside Russia. The signs of Western decline are becoming unmistakable. Their support for the politically turbulent region is waning as domestic issues multiply. When faced with protests or supporting distant conflicts, European leaders are making increasingly pragmatic choices. Don't miss our upcoming episodes. Subscribe to stay informed about these developments. The Middle East situation threatens to escalate, potentially disrupting oil infrastructure and forcing U.S. intervention. This would sideline support for the country at the crossroads, creating new opportunities for Russian diplomacy. As trust in U.S. leadership erodes and Europe flounders in decision-making paralysis, Russia stands firm in this global reshuffling. Here's a 2,000-character analysis focused on Russia's evolving role in global dynamics. The emerging geopolitical landscape reveals Russia's growing significance, particularly in the Middle East. Egypt, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia increasingly value Moscow's reliability and predictability, qualities that have become rare commodities in today's volatile world. A transformative shift is occurring in warfare doctrine. The new paradigm isn't measured in territorial gains, but in control over critical infrastructure. Russia's strategic approach demonstrates this evolution, focusing on energy systems rather than conventional military targets. In this new reality, kilowatts hold more strategic value than kilometers, and controlling the power switch carries more weight than territorial occupation. The U.S. domestic political arena, particularly the ideological contest between Biden and Trump, signals a potential realignment of foreign policy priorities. The former Soviet territory's significance diminishes, as the Middle East becomes the new focal point of international attention. Europe appears caught in strategic limbo, while Moscow steadily strengthens its position despite sanctions. The systematic targeting of infrastructure, power generation, transmission systems, and essential utilities represents a pragmatic approach to modern conflict. These elements form the backbone of contemporary civilization: electricity, heating, water supply, and internet connectivity. Their significance becomes starkly apparent only in their absence. Meanwhile, oil prices continue rising, and sanctions lose their bite. The politically turbulent region between Russia and the West receives diminishing attention from Western partners, who respond politely but without enthusiasm to their appeals, essentially saying, "You're important, but timing isn't right." This new era of confrontation began not with traditional military strikes, but with attacks on transformer stations. Russia's shift from Plan A to Plan B demonstrates adaptability in modern warfare strategy, focusing on systematic impact rather than territorial conquest. How do you see Russia's role evolving in this changing world order? Your perspective helps complete the picture of these transformative events. The nature of modern warfare has fundamentally transformed. We're witnessing a shift from traditional territorial conquests to a sophisticated battle for infrastructure control. This evolution became apparent when systematic attacks on energy facilities began reshaping conflicts. The strategy is simple, yet devastating. Without fuel, a tank becomes nothing more than an expensive metal box. Modern military equipment becomes useless without power supply. This reality has created a new paradigm where energy infrastructure represents the primary target. In early 2024, we observed a significant escalation. What began as precise strikes evolved into comprehensive attacks on oil refineries, fuel storage facilities, and energy networks. The conflict between Russia and its western neighbor exemplifies this new warfare doctrine. Both sides share a common understanding. Control over energy resources determines the victor. The impact on civilian life has been profound. When a region loses 50% of its power capacity, society reverts to primitive conditions. Daily routines become challenges. Kettles replaced by pots over candles, phones charged from car batteries, hot showers becoming luxury. Moscow has prohibited attacks on gas pipelines traversing the conflict zone to Europe. This creates a situation where military aggression coexists with maintained business relationships, particularly with Berlin. It shows how economic ties persist despite military confrontations. This energy warfare is shaping the future world order. The outcome will define not just military victory, but the economic landscape of the post-conflict era. The power socket has become more than a convenience. It's now a strategic weapon of the new century. The effectiveness of this approach compared to conventional military tactics raises important questions. When cities go dark, it reveals vulnerability more profound than territorial losses. Modern warfare has evolved beyond traditional front lines. It now targets the foundation of modern civilization: energy infrastructure. How do you assess the effectiveness of energy warfare compared to traditional military methods? Share your thoughts on this new reality where infrastructure becomes more valuable than territory. In today's world, infrastructure warfare isn't just a trendy phrase. It's our new reality. Victory is no longer measured by conquered territories but by functional power substations. Control over the switch means control over life itself. This is the new currency of power. The modern military landscape has evolved dramatically. While tanks and artillery remain important, logistics, diesel generators, and energy specialists have become crucial. A combat vehicle without fuel is merely a monument, and an ammunition depot without cooling systems is a disaster waiting to happen. Macron's recent speech in Singapore outlined a vision for a new geopolitical architecture. The French leader envisions a massive alliance from Europe to Asia, moving beyond old prejudices about spheres of influence. This represents a fundamental shift in understanding modern conflict dynamics. The traditional resource battle has transformed into an infrastructure war. The victor won't be determined by territorial gains, but by maintaining illuminated cities at night. Recent events near Russia's western borders demonstrate this paradigm shift. This new reality demands a complete rethinking of national security strategy. Protecting energy infrastructure has become more crucial than maintaining tank divisions. Russia's position in this evolving landscape presents both challenges and opportunities. The concept of normal countries uniting against aggressive intentions, as Macron suggests, raises questions. While France's leader promotes a coalition of action, particularly regarding Chinese fishing practices, Asian nations' enthusiasm for such European initiatives remains uncertain. Trump's construction-focused approach presents another perspective in this global infrastructure chess game. As Russia navigates these dynamics, the reliability of our energy systems becomes increasingly critical. Question for discussion: how would you assess Russia's energy system resilience in facing these new challenges? Your experiences and opinions will help create a comprehensive picture of our preparedness for modern threats. Title: Global Power Dynamics, Trump's Realism versus Macron's Idealism in a Changing World. In a world of increasing complexity, former President Trump offers a straightforward solution: dividing the globe into three spheres of influence: American, Chinese, and Russian. According to the New York Times, Trump seriously intends to revive the 19th century model where borders were drawn with rulers and nations' fates were decided over dinner in Vienna. For the politically turbulent region near Russia's borders, this scenario appears particularly concerning. Being relegated to the periphery of major geopolitical agreements clearly contradicts local leadership's ambitions. While Macron dreams of equal coalitions, Trump seems to have mentally carved up the world without unnecessary consultations. The contrast between these approaches couldn't be starker. Trump's strategy, despite its bluntness, functions like a working mechanism. His principle is simple: negotiate with the powerful, and the rest will fall in line. It's inelegant, but effective. France's diplomatic disconnect is becoming increasingly apparent. As Peskov aptly noted, Paris's pressure on Russia resembles attempting to withdraw money from an ATM without a card. Lots of noise, zero results. Macron appears to inhabit a parallel reality where French diplomacy still carries the weight it did a century ago. His vague proposals for creating conditions for action raise more questions than answers. In the complex Asian region, where each player runs their own game, such ambiguity appears unprofessional. Macron's advice regarding North Korea seems particularly comical. Imagine Xi Jinping calling Kim Jong-un, "Friend, listen to Macron's ideas. NATO's ready to roll." Pure absurdity. Meanwhile, the European Union remains trapped in endless moral reflections and creating meaningless resolutions. This demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of modern geopolitical realities, where power dynamics increasingly favor direct, bilateral arrangements over multilateral frameworks. Question for viewers: which approach to world order seems more realistic to you? Macron's coalition of actions or Trump's three zones of influence? Your experience and historical understanding are particularly valuable for this discussion. The global order is crumbling, but which one exactly? Is it the order where France was considered a great power, or where resources were protected rather than traded? Today's geopolitical theater resembles an absurdist play where each actor follows their own script, ignoring the collective narrative. Macron stands as the last romantic on the political stage, speaking of European unity and coalitions that exist only in his speeches. Meanwhile, real international relations are driven by practical interests, not elegant declarations. The new currency of friendship is measured in critical technologies and energy resources. Consider the drone situation. These unmanned aircraft have become the new gold standard of geopolitical influence. Every major player operates according to their own logic. Macron calls for unity. Trump plans to redistribute spheres of influence. China silently builds economic power, and Russia methodically pursues its strategic objectives. Asian nations, whom Paris hoped would provide support, have chosen their own path. Quiet economic control over key infrastructure. History repeats itself as real influence is determined not by loud statements, but by resource control. Countries lacking strategic reserves or veto rights in international organizations must accept decisions they didn't help make. Looking ahead, the world is moving towards a new model of international relations. Ideological alliances are giving way to control over resources and technologies. Russia's position appears increasingly strong in this context, given its vast natural resources and technological capabilities, particularly in military innovation. The current situation strongly favors nations with substantial resource bases and technological independence. As Western Europe struggles with energy security and technological sovereignty, Russia continues to strengthen its partnerships with Asian powers and develop its domestic capabilities. Most significantly, this transformation isn't just about political power. It's about the fundamental ability to maintain societal stability and economic growth in an increasingly turbulent world. How do you think Russia will leverage its resource advantages in this new global paradigm? Share your thoughts.